Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Again, on my daily dose of motivation for today, for everyone who does, I did actually one chapter of my book of the month, which is the 10x rule by Grant Cardone, last time on my live stream. So for everyone who wants to join me here, let me know. I will put the link, invitation link, and put it on the comments. So if you want to join me, you are very welcome. So let's see. Good. Okay, so as for today, I just want to do the second part of Grand Cardone. If you don't have it yet, I really recommend to get your copy of the 10x rule, either a book or a audiobook. Um, I am a really big fan of audiobook right now, since every time we go outside, I still get the information that's in the book, because I do have a really busy schedule, running after my 2-year-old son. So audiobook is really great. Yeah. Um, so I'm gonna share with you the second chapter. So that's my motivation part for today, and would really like to know what's your I'd say biggest takeaway when it comes to that, right, for this chapter. So let's see.
Before we get into how important it is for you to think and operate according to the 10x rule is vital. Before we get into how important it is for you to think and operate according to the 10x rule, let me share a little of my own story. For every project in which I have ever been involved, I underestimated the time, energy, money, and effort necessary to bring my project to the point of success. Any client I targeted or new sector of business that I ventured into has always taken 10 times more calls, more mail, 10 times more emails and contacts than I originally predicted. Even getting my wife to go out with me and eventually marry me took 10 times more effort and energy than I had calculated. But trust me, it was worth every bit of it. Regardless of how superior your product, service, or proposition is, I assure you there will be something you haven't anticipated or correctly planned. Economic changes, legal matters, competition, resistance to converting, too new of a product, banks freezing up on you, market uncertainty, technology changes, people problems, more people problems, elections, wars, strikes. Look, these are just a few of the potential unexpected events that could happen. And I don't say this to scare you, but instead to prepare you for where the biggest opportunities exist for you. 10x thinking and actions are vital. They're the only things that will get you through those events. Money alone cannot get you through them. It'll help, but it can't do the job for you. If you march into any battle without the proper troops, supplies, ammunition, and staying power, you're gonna return home defeated. It's as simple as that. It's not enough to occupy territory. You have to keep the territory. I started my first business when I was 29 years old. Most people don't go into business for themselves because they're not willing to take the financial haircut to start their own business. You understand? Most of you, to go in business, you're actually going to make less money in your first years of your new business than you were making at the job you had. I had prepared for this, or so I thought I had, and assumed that it would take me 3 or 4 months to get, back to that income level of the the job I previously had. Well, it took me almost 3 years to get my business to provide me with the same amount of income of my previous job. That was 12 times longer than I had expected. And I almost quit 3 months into my new business venture, not because of the money, but because of the amount of resistance and disappointment I was experiencing. I had a very specific list of reasons why my company wasn't going to work. I was failing. 3 or 4 months, 5 months of just failing. I came up with all these reasons. I compiled them in an attempt to talk myself out of continuing on my quest. I was beyond disappointment. I was distraught and all but destroyed. I literally went to a friend and said, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I made up reason after reason why it wasn't working out. It was the clientele didn't have the money. The economy sucked. The timing was wrong. I was too young. My clients didn't get it. People didn't want to change. I sucked. They sucked, and on and on. I eventually realized after spending so much time trying to figure out why things weren't working out, that it was completely possible that I was missing the answer entirely. I never considered that I merely incorrectly estimated what it would take to move a new product into the marketplace at the very beginning of my process. I was presenting a new idea to the marketplace, absolutely for sure, but it wasn't one that anyone had asked for. I had limited funds, so I wasn't able to hire people, and I couldn't afford to advertise, which was unfortunate because no one knew who I was or my company was. I didn't know what I was doing and was cold calling organizations. I'm literally talking to people, I don't know their name and they don't know my name. If this was going to work, it would depend on my ability to increase my efforts, not increase my excuses. Once I quit calculating all the wrong reasons, I committed to making this work by increasing my efforts 10 times. And as soon as I increased my efforts 10 times, everything started to change and changed immediately. I went back into the marketplace with the same idea, but the right estimation of effort, and started seeing immediate results. You see, instead of making 2 or 3 sales calls a day, I started making 20 to 30. When I ramped up my full commitment and aligned the correct levels of thought and action, the market started responding to me. Look, it was still hard, and I was still disappointed, but I was getting 4 times the result of making 10 times the effort. When you've underestimated the time, energy, and effort necessary to do something, anything, you will have quit in your mind. You'll have quit in your voice. You'll have quit in your posture, your face, and in your presentation. You won't develop the persistence necessary to get your mission accomplished. However, when you correctly estimate the effort necessary, you will assume the appropriate posture. The marketplace will sense by your actions that you're a force to be reckoned with, and you're not going away. And it will begin to respond accordingly. I have consulted with thousands of individuals and companies over the past 20 years, and I have never, not one time, seen an individual or a company correctly estimate the amount of effort and think. Whether it was building a house, raising money, fighting a legal battle, getting a job, selling a new product, learning a new position, getting promoted, making a movie, or finding the right partner in life, it always took more than what the people calculated. I've yet to meet anyone, regardless of their success or even how easy it appeared to be, ever claim that it was easy. Achieving big goals may seem easy to those who are on the outside looking in, but those who know firsthand that actually played the game and succeeded know what it took and will never make that statement. When you miscalculate the efforts you need to make something happen, you become visibly disappointed and discouraged. This causes you to incorrectly identify your problem and sooner or later assume that the target is then unattainable and you start to throw in the towel. Most people including managers, their first response to non-target attainment is to reduce the target rather than increase the activity. I have watched sales managers in organizations do this for years with their sales teams. They give a quota or agree on a target at the beginning of a quarter, and then midway through the quarter, they find they're unable to achieve the target. So they hold a meeting and basically tell everyone, hey, let's just reduce the target to some more attainable, quote unquote, figure in order for the team to stay motivated and have some chance of accomplishing their new target. This is a major mistake and should never even cross your mind as an option. It sends the wrong message to the organization that targets are unimportant and that the only way for us to win is to move the finish line up. A great manager will push a person to do more at the risk of coming up short rather than targeting less. This idea of changing targets to make everyone feel good will lead to a further weakening of morale, hope, expectations, and skills, and everyone will start assigning reasons, better known as excuses, as to why the team was unable to attain its targets. Look, warning, never, ever reduce a target, ever. Always increase your actions. When you start rethinking targets, making up excuses, letting yourself off the hook, you're giving up on your dreams. These actions should be an indication that you're getting off track. Considerations like rethinking targets, making excuses, letting yourself off the hook, that should be an indication, dude, I'm getting off track here. That you have to shift your thinking in terms of correcting the initial estimation of effort rather than making excuses. The 10X rule assumes the target is never the problem. Any target attack with the right amount of actions in the right amounts with persistence is attainable. Look, even if you want to visit another planet, if you assume the right actions taken in the right amounts over the right amount of time, you will accomplish that target. When people inadequately measure the actions necessary, they inevitably will start to try to make sense or rationalize why they're not hitting that target. Mankind seems to have this built-in automatic calculator whose only purpose is to explain away failure. The problem is that the first and most often used calculation always seems to be, oh, it's the target. The target's wrong. The target's too big. But never the activity level. This calculator, this mental deficiency, if you will, tends to be more emotional than logical. It judges the project. It judges the clientele, the economy, and even the individual to be deficient as a means of justifying why things are not working out. This is probably due to all the false content that has been loaded into our calculations by the media, the educational systems, the psychiatric community, and from our upbringing with excuses like, oh, the market's not ready, the economy's bad, this isn't one, it don't work too hard, you're not cut out for it, your target was unrealistic, love life, enjoy life. Life is to be loved. Success is on the journey, not the destination. Look, that's garbage, man. You need to attain success for yourself. More often than not, it's simply that you haven't correctly assessed the amount of action necessary. That's the only reason you're failing. Regardless of the timing, the economy, the product, your breath, the suit you wore, or how big your adventure is, the right acts done to the right degree, persisted over time, guarantee you'll be successful. And I can assure you from experience, 30 years of building companies and bringing new products and ideas to the market, that there will be something you have not foreseen. Regardless of how detailed your business plan is. I don't care if your product costs nothing, it's free, you're going to give it to everyone. It'll still take more energy and effort than you think. Your product could be 100 times superior to its closest competitor, and it could be free, and you will still have to apply 10 times more effort just to push through the noise in order to get people to even know about your product. Assume that every project you attempt will take more time, more money, more energy, more effort, and more people than you ever imagined. Multiply every expectation you have by 10, and you might be safe. And if it doesn't take 10 times more than anticipated, hey, lucky you. It's better to be pleasantly surprised than greatly disappointed. If you want to save time in getting your idea or product into the market, look, do this for yourself. Make sure you do 10 times more of everything in order to be in more places with more people over a shorter duration. For example, if you planned on it taking one person to pitch your idea, then plan on it taking 10 people in order to possibly be able to reduce the time it takes to get it to market. But remember, 10 times more people will take 10 times more money. And oh, by the way, somebody's going to have to manage these 10 times more people. 10x parameters allow for a variety of unplanned variables that can strike at any point during a project. Employee problems, lawsuits, economic swings, national, global events, competition, illness, and so forth get accommodated for. Add to this list any marketplace resistance to projects, people being set in their ways and not able to want to change, shifts in technology, and well, you have a whole slew of additional potential events that could derail your target. For some reason, people who develop an idea about something they want to bring to the market tend to embrace a sense of optimism that frequently causes them to grossly misjudge what it's going to take to complete their project. While enthusiasm for any project is clearly important, you cannot forget one important fact. Your potential customers are not as enthusiastic about your project as you are. Look, they don't even know it exists. Your potential market may only just be starting to wrap their head around your concept. Then, too, there's the possibility of complete apathy on the part of the marketplace, that there's no interest whatsoever in changing or a new product or a new idea. Look, I'm not telling you this to be pessimistic, but to be prepared. Tackle your project with the 10x rule, like your life depends on it. Manage every action as though you have a camera on yourself every step of the way. Pretend you're being regarded as a model by which your children and grandchildren in the world will learn later from your recordings. Attack everything with the ferociousness of a champion athlete who is getting his single last opportunity to claim his pages in the history books. And always remember to follow through completely. That is the great common denominator of all winners. They see every action through to completion. They make no excuses and adopt a take no prisoners attitude. Approach every situation with a in it to win it, whatever it takes mindset. Oh, sounds too aggressive? Sorry, but that's the outlook required to win in this marketplace today. I know you probably heard this before, but success does not merely happen. It is the result of relentless, proper actions persisted over time. Only those who operate with the appropriate view and corresponding actions will guarantee themselves of success. Luck clearly has something to do with success, but anyone who is getting lucky will tell you that their luck is directly proportional to how much action they're taking. The more actions you take, the better your chances of getting lucky. Exercise. What's the first reaction that most people have, including managers, when they're not hitting their targets? When you start making excuses for why you're not hitting your targets, what should that immediately indicate to you? And lastly, fill in the following. Stop doing what you're doing right now and fill this in. The 10x rule assumes the target is never blank. Any target attack with the right amount of blank in the right amount of blank with persistence is Chapter 3. What is success?
Okay. Chap- Chapter 2 is already finished. And what's your biggest takeaway from today? Let's start with mine. Mine, he said, Grant Cardone said something like, approach every situation with a take it to win it attitude. I like that one, right? And the other thing that he said is that, do everything that you do is just like if you are, if your future generation is going to learn from it. It's, having a what's he said, having a camera behind you for everything that you do. It's like, okay, hmm, that's stuck in my mind. Let me know what's your biggest takeaway from today's motivation. I would really love to know more about it. Yeah, so that's my daily motivation, and looking forward to get my next daily motivation for tomorrow. We'll continue with Cardone's 10x rule. So see you then tomorrow. Bye bye. I just need to figure out how to stop this one. So this is my first time using StreamYard. The last live stream that I have made is through YouTube directly. So I kind of figured that out already. So this one, I want to know how to do this. So StreamYard and